skills like cooking, cleaning, and budgeting, as well as relationship education. Their families are provided with an opportunity to create successful, healthy family cycles. The goal of Place for Grace is to treat family members of our home the way that Christ would, offering the knowledge of forgiveness, love, hope, and of course, grace. Please welcome Kandee Popham.
All right, there's a little height difference. All right, how's that? That work? I love being in a room with like-minded people. And by like-minded people, I mean people who truly care about the woman who's considering abortion. Because it's not going to be through condemnation, it's not going to be through name calling, it's not going to be through any of those things that a woman chooses life. It's going to be because someone showed her how much they love her. So thank you for being those like-minded people. I'm going to guess that all of you in this room would say we want to see abortion ended. But do we truly understand what that means if abortion was ended? Ohio has approximately 19 to 20,000 abortions each year. That fluctuates a little bit over the last few years. If we break that down, that's approximately 52 to 55 babies every day in Ohio that are aborted. That breaks my heart. It really does. So if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned, do we think then that the babies would suddenly have a voice that was heard? If these 52 to 55 babies that were to be aborted each day in Ohio were born, would someone hear their needs? I'm going to ask you, are we ready to continue to speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves? Because we are in historic times. Things are changing, right? Things are moving slowly towards changing Roe v. Wade. But I'm going to tell you, we have to be ready for that. I'm even going to go so far as to say that the church needs to be ready for that. Let me give you a tangible example of what I mean. The modest standard for cost of living here in Knox County is about $33,000 a year. That's someone working full-time, earning about $16 an hour. That's for a single person. If she then adds a baby to her life, any idea what that cost of living is going to jump in that first year? A modest estimate of that cost is $15,000 a year. I saw lots of estimates that were way higher than that. But for the purpose of our example, let's just use $15,000. So now she has unexpectedly to her gone from needing $33,000 a year to provide a modest living for herself to now needing to provide $48,000 a year to provide for her and this new life. That's just over $23 an hour. Can I tell you that our mamas that come to visit Place for Grace, I have yet to see a mama who is even earning close to $16 an hour when she's come to us for help. How is she going to do it? Of course, we know that this baby's life isn't all about dollars and cents, right? That's not my point at all. We know that baby has lots and lots of needs. It has emotional needs, it has physical needs, it has educational needs and spiritual needs, right? I'm just using this as a tangible way to help you see that our job is not done when abortion ends. The Bible tells us, don't just listen to God's word, live it out. Otherwise, you're just fooling yourselves. So what would happen if there would be something that would overturn Roe v. Wade? What happens to all those women that would have sought out abortion? What happens to those precious lives that are now born into a situation where that mama most likely is not going to be able to provide for that child? And I know what some of you are thinking. Some of you are thinking, well, it takes two to make a baby, right? And that guy should be providing. Maybe so. But the truth of the matter is, the last numbers I heard on that, only 3 out of 10 guys will actually stay with a girl that he's not married to once he finds out she's pregnant. I'm not an expert in this, but I can give you an educated guess at what I think we might see happen if Roe v. Wade was ever overturned. I believe we would see a flood in our already overloaded foster care system. Why? Because these mamas don't have a support system, or they probably wouldn't be considering abortion to begin with. We hopefully would see a flood of women heading towards pregnancy care centers, like maybe Starting Point, because they're doing amazing, amazing work there, and they really help these women. But their missions weren't created to be able to sustain these women and the help that they need to make it past choosing life. To my knowledge, adoptions in the United States are too expensive and hard to obtain for that to be a real option for a lot of these new mamas and the people who would really love to help them that way. Are we ready to put into action what our beliefs call us to do? How do we love, support, and nurture that mama so she can be successful? Because when we do that, we're really providing for the success of that baby. Well, that's one of the reasons why Place for Grace exists. Of course, our number one reason is that we want to introduce that mama and her baby to Christ. But other than that, we want to make sure that she has real life, tangible education that will help her provide for the needs of her current baby and her future family. That's why we use things like trust-based relational intervention and making sense of your work, because that's what provides her healing from trauma. And when she heals from trauma that she suffered in her life, that allows her to have healthy attachment with her baby. That healthy attachment for her baby that provides the foundation of mental health for that baby for its entire life. That's what enables that baby to have healthy relationships. It enables that mama and that baby to be thriving community members. It's why we teach her how to parent. It's why we teach her how to care and love for that baby. It's why we teach her home management, why we teach her how to cook and clean and budget her finances and supplement her income with things like baking and selling at the farmer's market. Or it's why we give her the opportunity to learn business skills by running a beef production business, let's say, at Place for Grace. It's why we teach her to formulate and achieve goals, and so much more. It's why we've worked so hard to develop a home, not a facility, a home where she can learn all of these things by living in a family that's doing these things. It's how we break generational cycles. Dr. Karen Purvis, who is the person who wrote TBRI, Trust-Based Relational Intervention, she has a saying that she says, "You don't know what you don't know until you know it." Our young mamas, they don't know that they don't even know how to care for their baby in their home. But we're going to show them, and we're going to teach them, and we're going to love them. I've got to tell you that right now in Knox County, Place for Grace is serving mamas. We're helping them to find suitable housing. We're mentoring these mamas. We're forming relationships with them. We're taking them back and forth to much needed prenatal appointments and even care after the baby's born. Do you know how many of them would not even have prenatal care if someone didn't step in? The vast majority of them. But we're not able to house young ladies just yet. We own a home. It's amazing. God has completely remodeled it. It is ready to go. But we need your help to be able to start housing young ladies here in Knox County. We need staff. And of course, we need funding to take care of that staff. We need house parents and mentors. We need people who are going to pour into these young ladies as if they were their own. It might be a couple who lives on site in a 3-bedroom, one bath apartment that's there for them. It might be a single lady. It might be whoever God calls, and we're going to look for them. How can you be ready? How can you help Place for Grace be ready? I encourage you to stop by our table on your way out, talk with us, sign up for our newsletter, and learn more about ways that you can support these young moms that are already in our community. Please help us spread the word. Make sure people know that we have job opportunities and that we're looking for those people to love these mamas into the kingdom. So are we ready? Are we ready to provide real life options for women who would be affected if Roe v. Wade ever was overturned? Well, I believe with God's help, by working together, and by living out what we believe, we will be ready at exactly the right time. Thank you so much for having me today.